Hello everyone. You know, it's been a while since I've done a video of just me kind of talking alone, and I think it's about time for me to get this video out. So a few days ago, my channel hit 500 subscribers. I think right now we're around 519 or something like that. I'm not too sure, but yeah, so 500 subscribers might seem like nothing, but it's definitely a milestone. You know, when I hit 500 orbs for the first time, that was a big deal. So who knows? One day I'll maybe look forward to the day when my subscriber count is higher than my orb count. We'll see. Who knows? But yeah, so I'll get into this. This is kind of, you know, a special video for you guys, the subscribers. I'm not gonna, you know, advertise this anywhere or share it around like I usually do my clears. This is me having a heart-to-heart conversation with you guys, you know, taking a look back at my YouTube journey, how my channel has progressed, talking about, you know, some thoughts that have gone through my mind over the past almost a year since I've started doing these kind of videos on YouTube. The channel anniversary is actually on October 18th. I have no idea what I'm going to do for it, but I'm going to try and come up with something special. I've got a lot of ideas. So I guess we can start from the very beginning. Maybe I'll tell sort of my YouTube story of how I actually started. So as most of you guys may or may not know, I'm a day one Fire Emblem Heroes player. I started right at when the app was available for download. I downloaded it right away and immediately began re-rolling because I'd played a ton of gachas before and I wanted a good start, plus I wanted Lyn. Lyn is like, for anyone who started Fire Emblem with Blazing Sword, Lyn is like your original true waifu. It's the first character you ever meet in Fire Emblem. So yeah, she's original waifu plus nostalgia. How could you not? You know, so I re-rolled for Lyn. It took me, guys, 35 re-rolls to see my first ever Lyn in 35 re-rolls, which was kind of ridiculous. Along the way, and I still remember this, I wonder if I have this account still, but there was a re-roll that started with Takumi and Azura, and I was so hesitant. I'm like, what, do I give this up? Do I keep this? And ultimately I gave it up. I think I saw Takumi 6 times, and he was like all the rage back then. If anyone remembers early day of Arena, Takumi with Vengeance, Close Counter, and Vantage was like dominating everywhere. But yeah, so I started with Lyn, and on that 35th reroll, on 3%, I kid you not, it was Lyn, Raven, and Roy, all 5 stars, in the same roll. Maybe I'll put up a picture of it or something so you guys can see. Yes, I have those pictures. It's really cool. I've kind of kept track. And so I started with that. Merrick was my first ever summon. So that reroll, I summoned green first. There was no reds. Shocker, right? Green first. Out came a 4-star Merrick. And then I backed out. I went back in and I got the Lyn, Roy, Raven summon, which was really cool. And then I kind of kept playing heroes. I've always been a hoarder from the very first day. I was like, I've got 3 5-stars, you know, I can sit on orbs, wait for some good units or units that I've liked. And I kind of just sat on them until the first banner came around that had Seliph, Julia, Ephraim, and Erica. And I thought that was cool. I liked all those characters. Big fan of Genealogy. Sacred Stones is a good game. It's one of the games that I actually enjoyed. It's part of the Game Boy Advance era, so I figured this is a great banner. I'll take any of them. And that was like one of the first, you know, I guess you could say, quote-unquote, bad luck moments for the channel. Or not the channel, for the account. It took 105 orbs to get Seliph, who at the time was actually a good Hector check. So that wasn't bad. Anyways, fast forward a few banners, Ninian came out, I threw 55 orbs at that banner, I didn't get her, and then one of the major moments for my account, I would have to say, is when Ike came out. Ike came out on April 26th, it was my birthday, and I was sitting, I still remember this, I was sitting at my kitchen table, sitting down, and I was like, alright, I had breakfast, and it's time to pull for Ike. and I went for it right away. 35 orbs in, I got Sorin. Don't ask why I remember all these details. I think when you hoard and you pull enough on very specific banners, you start to remember. So I pulled Sorin 35 orbs in, and I'm like, alright, this is going well. This is great. Yeah, sure. 165 orbs later, not a single 5-star. At 200 orbs on the dot, I get Ike. And I think I'd saved up around 400 orbs by then. And back then it was a lot of orbs. But I don't think people realize, because a lot of people pull impulsively and you never really keep track of orbs, but these days we get about 300 to 350 orbs a month. In launch month, which back then was considered a lot, I think we got like 220 to 230. And then there were 3 months, I think it was April, May, June, where there was this massive drought of orbs, and we got like on average 150 orbs a month. So 400 orbs is like the equivalent of 3 months of saving, which now would be about 1,000. I'll let you guys do that math difference. It's crazy. But anyways, yeah, I got the Ike, I got Sorin 5-star. I think the first Tempest Trials was back then, and Sorin was like my MVP of that Tempest Trials because he would hard counter Reinhardt and Olwen in that final map. And then I think a couple days after that, we got a banner, or no, it was actually a few days before that, we got a banner, a Fighting Zephiel banner with Reinhardt on it. And Reinhardt was one of the meta units. I didn't have a good blue, so I pulled for Reinhardt and got him at 82 orbs. And then after Ike, 2 days later, we got Hero Fest, which was the first time Hector had been on a banner. And Hector was one of my favorites. He was in the game, but he was never on a banner, so I couldn't just, you know, pull for a green. I mean, some people did pull on green in hopes of getting an off banner, but that's kind of silly. So I went all in, absolutely all in. It was the first time, and I think the only time, aside from the initial reroll, that my account hit 0 orbs. I don't have a picture of it hitting 0 orbs, but I do have one showing the Hector pull with 5 orbs left. I'll put that on the screen at some point for you guys to see as well, I think. At the moment, I'm just kind of like talking to myself in my room. I don't even know what the background of the video is going to be. Probably me doing something in Fire Emblem Heroes. I don't know, maybe rival domains. I haven't done rival domains yet. We can do that. Anyways, so yeah, Hero Fest, that was, well, like, I think until today, well, maybe not the, well, in terms of rates, it is the best luck I've had on this account. I went 137 orbs in, and I got 2 Ryomas, an Azura, a Takumi, and eventually I got Hector at the very end. So that was great. And from there on, the horde began. And I started to hoard orbs for months and months and months at a time. I think I pulled on the summer banners at the very end, and then I didn't really pull much. I had decent luck on the summer banners. I pulled on brides, but again, not very much, like less than 100 on each of those banners, some of them less than 50. And I was part of a lot of communities. I think the first Fire Emblem Heroes community I ever joined was X-Nira's community. Way on in the early days, probably sometime around when the Ike banner was. And it was great, and for all of you guys who know me from there and who still keep in touch, you guys are the originals, my original friends in Fire Emblem Heroes, and I appreciate you all, and it was a blessing to have you guys as part of this journey. And of course, thank you, X-Nira, for, you know, hosting me as part of your community in the beginning. I can't give you enough praise for the friend you've been to me on this journey. But speaking of that community, around, I can't remember when exactly, and he can correct me on this, but I think it was August, September, Roltaire first started the true solo trend, or what is now a community in itself. And I remember being fascinated with this. It was like very impressive to see one unit do everything, and it was like just the type of difficult, challenging gameplay that I like to watch and see. And so I always said, you know, I had been preaching since day one of the game, you know, Arvis for Fire Emblem Heroes when, because I'm such a big fan of Arvis. Obviously, for people who watch my channel, you already know that. And so I kind of jokingly said, or maybe not jokingly, I don't know, but I was like, if Arvis ever comes to Fire Emblem Heroes, I'll do solos. Lo and behold, fast forward October 18th, the anniversary of our channel, also the first day Arvis arrived in Fire Emblem Heroes. And so at that point I was like, well, I guess I have to put my money where my mouth is. And the rest is history, guys. I've been doing Arvis solos. I don't have very many true solos. There's not much I can do about that. Limited merges, low BST, mage. I try my best, guys. I do the assisted solos. I hope those are good enough. Some people don't like dancer stuff. Some people do. It's entertainment, right? And, you know, I kept on doing this, and I'm actually scrolling through my videos now, and I can't believe, you know, some of these have like over 1,000 views, 2,000 views, 4,000 views for, you know, Takumi GHB Infernal. Like, none of these videos were edited. And until very recently, I never edited any of my videos. I didn't even put up any thumbnails. And so it just really makes me appreciate the people who come and watch just raw content. Like, for you guys who have been there since the very beginning, that's amazing. That you guys can just come and watch, you know, this type of gameplay that you enjoy, unedited, no thumbnails, nothing. Just to come and support and comment, that just means so much to me. And that you've stuck around. Like, I see some people in the comments that have been here since the first solo, and they're still here, and they still comment, and I really try my best to reply to everyone and engage in everyone. So just to you guys, you have no idea how much I appreciate this. Thank you for being there and supporting from day one. And like, as I scroll, I look through, you know, some of the major challenges that we had on this account. One video that hasn't done particularly well, but is very memorable to me, is the Cecilia and Lilina Infernal Bound Hero battle. And a lot of people don't understand how important this one was. This was like my 6th ever solo video, or 5th maybe. And it was the first time I actually thought, maybe I'm not going to clear this map, because it was the first time I came in contact with a Sapphire, Lance, plus Flyer with 40 resistance against a red mage who needed to solo it. And I racked my brains, and back then, guys, we didn't have AoE specials buffed yet. But I was sort of looking through any way I can get by this, and I read the description of those AoE specials, and I was like, hey, this doesn't factor in weapon triangle, it's just raw attack minus defense or resistance. I think I can make this work. And it did. And that was November, I think, of 2017. No one used AoE specials back then. They had 5 cooldown, they didn't score as well in arena, all that kind of stuff. No one cared. It was pre-buff. And that was me, my first time I used AoE specials, and I was like, these are a drug. I was in love with them. And I've never looked back since. All my clears, or most of them, will use AoE specials. They are just so strong. I can't advocate enough. But that was kind of like one major milestone video to me. Another one of my major milestones is actually the first time I did a voiceover of gameplay, and that was when I hit 1,000 orbs. And I showed myself playing Tempest Trials. I think that was like 6 or 7 months ago, something like that. But 1,000 orbs, big milestone. I think in that same month, I did my first ever collaboration with a bunch of YouTubers, where we did the first ever speedrun challenge, where I basically challenged them to see who can clear the Grand Hero, the Tempest Trial, the fastest. And I put like a soundtrack over it and made a funny, or my friend made a funny Mario Kart thumbnail. And that was my first ever collaboration, which was great. A month after that, I did my first ever Orb Horde video, how to join the Orb Horde, because I felt like now I have 1,000 orbs, I'm qualified to, you know, help people save up, tell people how to save orbs. And around then I started streaming as well, so things were really starting to roll. I was becoming, you know, more and more a part of the community. I had, you know, started to form friendships with fellow YouTubers, fellow soloers, viewers, just other people in the community who were cool to talk to, and it was great. And the hoarding videos became a monthly thing, and I know I owe you guys some more of those. I'm working on it, I promise. I haven't forgotten. There's a lot of stuff. I've got a lot of ideas in the works. And the videos started taking off, but there was one thing missing. And until very recently, I hadn't really done many edits with the videos. The orb horde ones were kind of edited, but that was like, you know, not really anything major. It was just me putting pictures together. And I was obsessed with this song, and people who knew me back then know how obsessed with it I was. But the song Man's Not Hot just was so funny to me. I took it like a lifestyle. And I started working, I believe it was like around maybe March or April, I decided to make a parody of it called Sigurd's Not Hot. And that was going to be my masterpiece video. I worked on it for 2 whole months. And it was my first time really doing something edited all by myself. I had some help with getting the faces and some touch-ups on the voice. But other than that, I did everything myself. I wrote the lyrics, I rapped the song, I did all the movements. It was really my first major project. And with the release of that, I was like, once you start editing, you can't really go back. And ever since then, my videos have been, even if it's not anything fancy, I'm still learning. I'd never edited any type of, or made any videos before until I started doing Fire Emblem Heroes content. So I know my content isn't like fantastic to watch or anything so visually pleasing or whatever, but I'm trying, I'm learning. I've got something special that I'm working on at the moment, which should be really cool. I'm learning how to do some interesting transitions for it, so hopefully that'll be good. But otherwise, you know, with everything going so well, obviously you start having, you know, doubts. I put 2 months into the parody, and it got like maybe 1,000 or 1,500 views initially in like the first 2 weeks, and that was kind of, you know, a little disappointing. And at that point I had worked for 2 months, and some days I would edit for like 10, 11, 12 hours a day. And for something that I put so much time into, to not really explode as I had expected it to, you know, I didn't expect, you know, 1 million views, but I thought, you know, a parody of this caliber for a game that's reasonably active and a very popular meme, or maybe it was a dead meme, and I was just missed my timing, but for something like that to get only 2,000 views, I was like, maybe I'm doing something wrong. Maybe I just shouldn't do these videos. Maybe I should just give up and quit. And by then I'd also been hoarding for such a long period of time. Banners were just, for me personally, disappointment after disappointment, and the game seemed like it had slowed down in my eyes. With the burnout from editing videos, I was, you know, not very confident anymore in my ability, in, you know, my drive to do this. But just after that, as if this was a sign, I got my first true solo of the Raven and Lucius Infernal Bound Hero battle. Out of nowhere, just as I was having all these doubts, you know, maybe I'm gonna quit, maybe I'm gonna quit Fire Emblem Heroes as a whole. And yeah, it gave me a second wind, honestly. And whenever, I've always, you know, especially recently, I've been having a lot of thoughts on like how much is this really worth all the time? You know, I don't really have a big subscriber base. YouTube is just a hobby of mine. I've got a lot of stuff, you know, going on in real life, you know, just trying to work and balance, you know, hobbies and work and, you know, progressing in general. But I've never given up, because the support for my channel, while small, is very appreciated. And I just have to say that it's the people who are subscribed to me and the people who comment on my videos every day telling me how, you know, this was amazing, keep it up, this is great. The soloer community is always very supportive. There's a hoarding community as well that I'm part of that is also very supportive and keep challenging me to surpass my limits, you know, that kind of stuff. And I just couldn't bring myself to let all these people down. So thank you, every one of you, for keeping me in this for as long as I've been. I never expected, and I don't think I ever really wanted, you know, anything in terms of views or subscribers or anything out of this, but to see myself past 500, like 500 is a lot of people. I don't think I've ever been in a room all at once with 500 people. That's a lot of people. And to see that, like, a lot of my videos get more views than I have subscribers, which is amazing. It's great that people come and they watch these kind of things. And so despite all the doubts and all these kind of things, you know, I continued, I persisted, and I will continue, and I will persist. I've got so many ideas that I want to make happen, and they're going to take more time. But I'm committed to doing this for you guys and for whoever wants to join in the future. So yeah, going back down the list, I see, you know, the next, I made an Arvis showcase, which I thought was hilarious, and I did it to the song, Here Comes the Boom, and Valflame explodes every time, you know, the rapper says boom. It's just funny. I edit it together. It's amusing to me. I do this for my enjoyment. If you guys like it too, that's great. You know, I heard a great quote. I forget who said it, but it's like, you should create things that you enjoy, and I make things that I enjoy. So in terms of videos, in terms of cooking, barbecuing, I make things that I enjoy. But yeah, and then, you know, after that, and this isn't really a secret, I mean, this is probably one of the reasons my channel has gotten to 500 subscribers, is a month ago, the target that we had been hoarding for dropped, which was Choose Your Legends Hector. And that was it. The whole horde, all 2,619 free-to-play orbs, were ready to go for the +10 Hector. And I'll admit, at first, I was disappointed. And when I first saw the trailer and saw that he was armored, I was ready to delete Fire Emblem Heroes. I'm going to be totally honest. I'd been waiting for Hector to stop being armored, start being infantry, maybe get Wolfbale. I would have taken him, even if it wasn't Wolfbale, if he was just infantry lance, I would have taken it. But to see him armored, at first I was like, no, I'm quitting. And I didn't want to say anything because I was streaming my reaction, and I didn't want to say anything absurd that I would regret later on. And so I ended the stream, and I slept on it. And the next day I was talking to one of my friends, and they had said, hey, you know, isn't Oswin one of the units on your list that you were hoarding for? And I said, yeah. And they said, well, you know, this Hector is essentially Oswin, but on steroids, because he's a Choose Your Legends, and he's your favorite unit. So if you were going to pull for Oswin anyways, why not just fill that blue armor space with Hector? And that really clicked. And that person, and you know who you are, I'm not going to mention any names, but you are responsible for single-handedly saving Fire Emblem Heroes for me. So thank you. Sincerely. And that stream that I did, pulling for Choose Your Legends Hector, has probably been the most fun, and I've done some fun things in this last year, but the most fun I have had this entire year. The support in the chat was amazing. The luck was unreal. You know, I had 200 people at one point watching me just pull for this unit with no edited backgrounds, no face cam, just my voice and some background music. 200 people, that is nuts. And that was so much fun. And since then, I've started soloing with Brave Hector, who is absolutely busted. I've got some insane solos. Some more Iron Lance stuff that is pretty crazy that I'm editing for you guys to see. I know this video is getting kind of long, so I don't want to keep rambling. I'm doing this all without a script. I don't know if you guys can tell. I'm just kind of like scrolling through my channel, looking at my videos, and talking about some memorable moments in the past. But the 6 and 7 second clears, those will continue to happen as long as I can do them. Some of the maps, I'll tell you, I tried Vaulter the other day. Not happening. There's 2 people with Panic Ploy. So Vulture in 7 seconds is not going to happen, unfortunately. I can't see any way to pull it off. But any Grand Hero battle, although now with Abyssal, I think solos are dead, and so are the 6 and 7 second clears. But regardless, I will continue to try. I'll continue to put in some effort. Oh, yes. Rival Bromains. Also, another reason for a big influx of people into my channel. I was recently invited to do Rival Bromains on Chaz Arya LLC's channel, which is a huge honor for me. This is like the big event, the big live event in Fire Emblem here in the Fire Emblem Heroes community. Everyone looks forward to Rival Bromains, be it the YouTubers, be it the community. We all love it. Even when I'm not participating, I'm always in the chat watching. It's a riot. All the different Fire Emblem Heroes YouTubers are great. Every person has their own personality and niche, and it's always fun to watch, you know, these people with their trademark units come together. I had the honor of being on this one, as well as the first ever Rival Bromains, which wasn't live streamed. It was actually recorded. A lot of people don't know this, but I was on that one too, featuring Arvis. The original Rival Bromains with the original repping unit for me. So yeah, that was so much fun. I put together a highlight reel. Some people were saying, you know, it's all Hector. Guys, it's 4 minutes and 44 seconds of Hector in an 18.5-minute video. Yes, he dominated a lot of the combat, but he's not everything. He was just so broken that, I don't know, maybe it was the major thing that stood out to people, but everyone in that stream was just so unique, so funny. You know, Official Jug with his parry and Mangs bullying him for it. That interaction was hilarious. Ghost Agron with his quotes and poetic interjections and repositioning me up into that corner onto the fortress tiles where I proceeded to dominate. Who else was in it? Yeah, Mangs with his Gordon. Genius. So funny. Colm with his Athena, who got robbed of really showcasing what she can do. She's fantastic. Retro with his Winter Crom unfortunately got such bad matchups. He had like probably the worst luck in terms of matchups in that stream. Hopefully he gets to redeem himself in the future, but it was great working with you. We had Marbles with his unkillable Azama in the second half, healing and doing some real good work. And then there was Stolen Ramen with his Nino, who was probably my personal MVP in that map, because everyone noticed Hector getting the kills, but no one noticed Nino with the panic and the debuffs. That was genius. Great build by Stolen Ramen. And of course, Chaz for hosting the whole thing. That was glorious. So yeah, that's kind of been my journey so far on YouTube. As for, I don't know, I feel like I should also talk about what I want to do moving forward. I know I kind of mentioned solos maybe being dead. I think they are. Abyssal is just not popular. Possible is what I mean. It's also not popular. A lot of people don't like it. I personally love it. I think it's a great challenge. I've always been on the record saying I want content that I can't solo. And now I have it. As sad as I am to see that we can't do it, maybe assisted solos might be possible. But I just can't see true solos being possible at the moment. Who knows in terms of power creep or whatever comes next. But yeah, Abyssal is great. I'll continue to make those Hector and Arvis clears like I am currently. And we'll see where it goes from there. I think I might, you know, make some non-Fire Emblem Heroes content like I did previously. I made a meme here and there, and I'm streaming Fire Emblem 7. I've got a few ideas for some fun videos that I want to do that might not be only Fire Emblem. They're still Fire Emblem, but they might be exactly Fire Emblem Heroes. So I might do that. I don't know. What do you guys think? You guys can feel free to give me suggestions on what kind of direction that you'd like to see my channel move in and stuff like that. So yeah, I think that's all I have to say. I don't know that I have anything else to really say. I just want to say thank you to the community for accepting me for the opinionated, hard-headed person that I am sometimes, and sticking up with me. I know I might upset people with my opinions every now and then, but just know that I don't mean any malice by them, nor do I mean to be mean or demeaning or offend anyone directly. That's just how I talk, and I'm honest about it. And thank you to the viewers who are consistently with me. Thank you to all my friends who have supported me throughout this, and thanks for subscribing and getting me to over 500. It's unreal. I don't know, maybe we'll be able to breach 1,000 sometime in the future. I'm not going anywhere. If you guys aren't going anywhere, then let's walk on this path together. As a great man would say, we can walk on this path one step at a time.